welcome to Style and Glamour. We're back with some exciting fashions you're going to love to see. A rising star in the fashion scene is none other than Nara Paz, and she's here with us today with Dennis, and we really want to have you see some fabulous things. So tell us a little bit about, Nara, how you got started. I understand you were born in a small town in Brazil.
Yes, I grew up in Quaraí, one small village south of Brazil in the border of Uruguay. It's far away.
And you seem to study fashion since you were like 8 years old?
Well, yes. You know, in Brazil, when we grew up, my grandmother used to teach us how to sew. We used to, create our own clothes. And fashion always been part of my life since a young child.
But you come a long way since you were 8 years old, and you've had so many paths in your life that have led you to this. And then a little later on, what happened?
Well, I come from a family. My father was, my mom was divorced, and I remember my father coming to visit me when I was 10, and he brought along his new wife, which was this fabulous lady, and she had this Chanel hair and red nails and matching red lips, and that was my inspiration. And when I saw that lady, well, I want to be like her, and this is how.
And you're only 7, I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah. This is when everything started, and I wow, I want to evolve in fashion.
And I guess in Brazil they do like fashion, and they sort of believe in it. If you look good, you feel good. Is that their philosophy?
Exactly. Well, this is what my mom used to say to us, because my mom was a very beautiful lady, and we were a family of all girls. I had 4 sisters, and my mom used to teach us since we young, growing up. She said, if you feel good, you look good. Now, if you look good, you feel good.
Your design's so unique, and I think that not only fashion-wise, but I think architecturally-wise, and I think you've had a career in that has brought you to this point.
Yes, when I was 18, I left my small town and I went to the big city where my father used to live, and I started my career designing
ads,
yellow pages, and create graphic layouts. When the time when we didn't have computers, we had to do everything with nanking pencil, and this is how I started my career of graphic design. It's been part of all my life. My dream was to be an artist, but then I tried to go to architecture school, and because I had those skills of drawing, I got some sketches here too. I started doing corporate identities for companies, and this is how I worked in Brazil as a graphic designer for many, many years.
But you also did industrial design, so that was even furniture and fixtures.
Yes,
and
I went to the school for industrial design in Brazil, which later on I cross-credited to my school in America, and I designed chairs, I did presentations of industrial design, and graphic and industrial design became all my life in that period.
Yeah. One of the major projects that she had was for one of the largest companies in Brazil. It happened to manufacture swimwear and surfboards, a company called Momai. And Nara and her partner got this project to reposition Momai for the swimwear market. And,
so you did swimwear?
And she did, yeah.
Yes. Well, I started the company with designing the graphics. I created the logo. I redesigned the logo, and then from the graphic, I started designing clothing. And it was a process that was a slow process, but I started designing embellishments for them, and then they start asking for more. Right. And then how about fashion? And maybe you do a T-shirt, maybe you do a graphic for the T-shirt. Then I end up designing the T-shirt and designing the rest. So I thought, well, this is the time.
And you started doing bathing suits.
Yes.
And were the bathing suits as sexy as they are now? Are they as bare in those days?
Well, yeah, they're still small. They're still small, and yes, very sexy. And I create. Then I start designing I stopped everything and I thought, oh, it's the time for start my own label.
Very nice.
Which it was called Sexy Baby. It was swimwear, very
It was.
sexy for young girls.
So now, when did you and Dennis get together to establish this fantastic company?
Well, after I launched my first line of swimwear, you know, in the process of launching, actually, I went to New Zealand.
Why New Zealand, of all the places?
Well, you know, I love beaches, and I decided to go to a paradise, and I look at the map and say, where is this faraway, fabulous country where everything is so perfect, everything is so green, and I needed a break, and I really wanted to have an overseas experience.
Okay.
So I went to New Zealand, and I met this guy there.
And how did you meet, Dennis? I mean, this is a great story, how you met.
Yeah, well, I think actually she came to New Zealand for the 72 million sheep, because there are only 4 million people in New Zealand. It's very small. But, you know, I was doing a consulting assignment with Team New Zealand, which was the sailing team that won the America's Cup, and they were defending it against all comers.
Right.
And I happened to be doing a consulting project there for some software. And I stayed in a hotel opposite where Nara was staying, and to earn extra money there, she worked in this restaurant, a Brazilian
While
restaurant.
I'm studying English.
Wow.
And I went there one evening, and she was serving me, and lo and behold, she dropped her plates right in front of me and over me. And well, that was the starting of our relationship. Actually, I think it's because, you know, we both share this intense interest in art and in beauty, you know, the environment and so on. And so I actually showed her a lot of New Zealand, and we became basically soulmates after that
fantastic.
period of time. And I went to Brazil, and we spent some time there, and then I convinced her to come to America. And that's when, and I also encouraged her, or we talked about it, that she should go back to school and study.
My dream.
Yeah, fashion design, high-end fashion design, because that was her passion.
And then of all the places you picked, which is a wonderful school, is La Salle College. And that's how, when you came to America, you actually enrolled there right away.
Yes, then I decided to go to school, back to school, and we chose La Salle College for numbers of reasons, and I did a fashion design and production course, which was a 4.5 years course, and I did in 2.5 years.
You finished it in 2.5 years, and it's a 4-year
Yes,
course?
I did.
Oh, wow.
With the
Drove me
help-
crazy.
Yeah, help of my, I was focused, and this was our plan. Actually, going back to school was part of a business plan in order to get some American credentials to be able
Credentials,
to
yeah.
to be able to launch my line in the future. So I was very focused, and I was a very classic student, and well, but then you can ask more of my professors that she's here to.
We will. We'll talk to your
Yeah.
professor in a few moments.
Yes.